bolt action ink pen turned on the lathe. Stick with me and I'll show you how to do it. Bolt action pen kit. We're gonna make us a bolt action pen today. The things that we're gonna need: 7mm mandrel. That's what this is right here. That goes in the headstock, and that's the live center for the tail stock. Also, we're gonna need a 3/8 drill bit. This will drill out the center of the blank. All right, then on the mandrel, we need these bushings. The bushings are PKC P3000 BU. That goes with the kit. Right there, it's a 2 bushing set. That's some accessories where I can manipulate, like I got some HDPE bushings right there. That's when I put the finish on. Also, we'll need a trim, barrel trim. Once you get it, the whole drill, this in it, you'll need that to trim, to square up the ends where we can put it on the lathe. Then the rest of it is the kit. You got the spring, the actual ink pen, and the bottom and top. This right here is the actual bolt action part. You activate the bolt action, that brings it out so you can write. And this is Parker refill, so it's you can get gel refills. There are plenty out there. Parker's a big pen. So the kit itself is PKC P8040. It comes from Penn State. Now when you get all of that done, you're going to need a press of some kind to press it together. So the ends press into the blank, and then you finish mounting the pen, you got it. So today we're going to go to the lathe and turn this blank. Then once it's turned, because it's high use, I use C8 glue to put the finish on it, and then I got these pads for to put the shine to it. Then when you get the shine to it, we'll wax it. Then there'll be an ultra shine. So let's go on over to the lathe, get her mounted, and get started. So what we're doing, we're going to drill a hole. We're going to go ahead and do that first. That way we can glue the brass in it, plus do the trimming, and then that's how you man it in the mandrel. So I like doing it on the lathe. I use the Jacob's chuck here, and I got me a little pin thing. It's easier to get it in the center. Drill press, sometimes it's hit or miss, but this thing seems to get it in the center a little better. So what we're going to do, we're going to slow this thing down and see if we can't drill a hole. I marked the center and I put a little divot, and that just ensures that it's going to, drill the center. So here we go. I've got them about 700 RPM. I like to take my time. This is Coco Bolo I'm using. It's really hard. If you throw it to it, you'll wind up breaking it. Now that we got the hole drilled, what I'm gonna do is use CA glue to glue it in the blank. Then you'll have to set up for a little bit. You know, CA glue sets up pretty quick anyway. But when you need a good coating, if y'all remember what I said is I'm using, well, actually in this situation here, I use thick. I got some thin that I used for the first coat for the finish, and then I medium and do it. But now for this application, I'm going to use a thick. So therefore, what we're going to need to do, we're going to need to put it on both sides. And you try to get the best coverage in there you can. And what I have tried before, or in my experience, I didn't actually run through and see that it, and I got the glue on it and it wouldn't go in there. So I usually try to let it go through a time or two, just make sure it fits. So the thick, all right, what I do, I take it in. I know some say you don't ever want to back it out, but I've had it to fail on me. So I'm this way, I'm ensured that I'm getting it all the way through. I've had to blow up and just going in one direction, never backing up. The glue don't go down about a third of the way. When that one blowed up on me, well, it wasn't glued. Now I've done it this way. The glue nearly gets all the way in. That's the best way I know to do it. What happens when this thing goes in, even if you spread it out evenly, it all pushes to one side. This way, at least if nothing else, I got it a third of the way on both sides. So, all right, now that this is set up, what we're gonna do, we're gonna take the barrel trimmer, which I got it in my drill, and this thing keeps it perpendicular to the inside of the brass. So therefore, the ends, once they're trimmed down, will be perpendicular. That's the idea. So when you put it in the lathe, it's not going to be cantywampus. So what we're going to do, and remember, Coco Bolo is pretty hard, so we're just going to take our time with it. All right, the moment you see brass, you got it. You don't want to trim too much off, because what it'll do, it'll wind up being too short. Of course, they figured in a little bit right there, but you don't want to go crazy here. So when it gets down to, and you see brass all the way around, you're good to go. Let's see. Okay. So you see the brass all the way around. So we've got the ends trimmed up. It's perpendicular. Now it's ready to mount it on the lathe. And this is the 7mm mandrel that we were talking about. So what we're going to do, I like to put these on it, and what that does, it pulls it away from here, so you got more than enough room for your tools. So see, that goes, see these bushings there, they just go right in the end of it right there, and on the brass, like I say, that way I don't like to be hemmed in the corner, if you know what I mean. So it ain't got to be real tight, but it needs to be snug. So what I've got here, I've got a tool rest. I tell you what, no, this one's right here is fine. I've got this little fella right here. I can get right on in there. Okay then. So what I like to do to get it around, I use my roughing gouge. So let's use the roughing gouge. Kind of feel I need to go down just a little bit. So I get it round with this, but the whole point of the bushings is the outside diameter of these bushings is the outside diameter of the pin. So when they go together, they'll be flush with each side. That's the whole idea. But when I'm doing this, I get it close, even with it. And then what I got to do, you got to count for some sanding and all that. But then the CA glue will build up some. So you just want to say just enough that you can tell above these bushings, and it's always been fine, worked out fine. Because I found it's better to be a little proud here than to be too low. It kind of looks like it was supposed to if it was just a tick proud, but if it's under it, it just looks bad. So right now, let's see if we can't get it round. It doesn't take too long, but you got to give it its time. So basically, okay, I need to do a little greasing right there. All right, at this point right here, I let the little proud, it's got just a little convex right there, but it is flush here and just barely got something there. So now I'm gonna, instead of sanding these down, I usually like to put my HDPE bushings in there, because I can make 8 or 10 set of them things in a few minutes. But when you sand these down, it kind of changes the OD, so therefore I like getting them off there. So I turned these on the lathe out of it was a cutting board. I just cut off some strips of it, put them on a lathe, and made a taper right here. So therefore I put my finish on that, and I don't have to worry about damaging my bushings. So now what I want to do, I'm going to do a little sanding right there. This is actually 320s. But if you take and go with the grain, it has a lot of scratches. That's a lot. Well, all right then. Tell you what I can do. I'm gonna put some denatured alcohol on that thing. It dries real fast, and for a moment you get an idea of what it's going to look like. Okay, let's try that. Oh yeah, check that out. All right, denatured hull, like I say, will dry. A lot of times what you can do, you can burnish it. You take the shavings, which this thing didn't have enough shavings to matter, but if you're turning something to get a lot of shaving, you take them shavings, you can do the same thing. It gets it cleaned off and burnishes it to where what you've got is what it's going to look like. Now, what I like to do, I've got a board right here. I don't like stuff to get on the bed here, so I got this, or if any of that glue drops on it, yeah, any of that glue drops on it, I don't think I'm gonna reach. Let's try a different one. Yeah, let's try this one here. Should do it. Oh, yeah, it'll do it. Okay. So I'll show you what we're gonna do. Gotta get some gloves on. You want, it's a super glue, so you want your skin protected. So what I've got, I got some blue paper. I'll apply it with it. Blue paper towels. I'll tell you what I've done. Talking about sharp tools. These I'm left-handed. These scissors are for left-handed people. This is the only set of left-handed scissors I got on the whole entire place. Everybody else right-handed. Well, like a big dummy, I was cutting sandpaper and everything else with this thing. Well, you know what happened. It's dull. It wouldn't cut these. It just would not do it. Look at that dude cut. What I did, I got to looking. I gotta pop that red thing off and look at, below and behold, the screw there. So I took a screw out and I put it on my stones over there. I bet I wasn't on the stones half a minute. Count both sides. I mean, it's pretty quick. Had sucker cut now. Yes, sir. When you go to the store, if you find a pair of scissors for a left-handed person, you might want to go and get them if you're left-handed, because you don't see them. I don't see them very often. But a left-handed person, I just bet you, if you're left-handed, that you're going to know what I'm fixing to say or talking about. Right-handed person don't really notice it, but on TVs and watching people write and different stuff, a left-handed people will notice a left-handed person. They're writing left-handed. You know, Madam Secretary, the President, is left-handed. I mean, so what I do, I take this. Some's going to soak into it. After it soaks into it, it kind of rides on it. So I've had this thing get really bad here. I don't know, it's a little chemical reaction that wasn't going well or something. Every once in a while, when it does that, I just shut it down, get back away from it, and let it cure on out. So when I put this on it, I can slow that thing way down. So, but this right here is the thin. No, yeah, it's the thin. That'll allow this to, it wicks into the grain. So when I go to the medium, it builds up quicker. Plus, I think this makes it stronger, because you got a punky place that, you know, I use shellac. It'll stiffen it up a little bit, but this right here, it'll really stiff, because it's so thin, it's like water. It'll just wick itself into it. So I just get it covered. Now, once it's covered, you're kind of done with the thin, because what it'll do, it'll just run off, because it's like water. But I go to the medium now. So in the process of doing a pen, now this will put a plastic film over it, and most things like the boxes and stuff I make, I use a shellac, because it don't look like it's got a plastic film over it. It goes into the wood, and it'll have a little sheen to it. But or this shaving brush and stuff, you want to do this because you want it protected. It can't stand that moisture. Where that box that I made, it don't get the use that a pen will. I've made a lot of pens, given to a lot of people, and it ain't long. They're asking about the refills, because they use them. So I'm gonna let that set up here a minute, and then we are going to. Yeah, okay. One thing about it though, if you don't put it on too thick, it'll set up fairly quick. Okay, come on now. Yeah, I think I'm getting low. Yeah, come on now. Okay, here we go. I'll put one more coat on it, then I'll let it cure and then sand it down. It doesn't matter how thick the coat is. Of course, the coat, it gives it more depth, but what I'm trying to do is save the wear and tear on the blank. You know, it's in your pocket and a rainstorm come. I mean, you know, I just feel like an ink pen needs a little more protection than a box that's sitting up on your shelf or a bookcase or something. Here's one thing I forgot to mention. You know how I was taking the paper towel, and you need to be careful throwing them away. What I do, I hang them on the side of my garbage can and let them dry completely before I ever throw them in the garbage can. I've actually had the garbage can catch fire. It's a chemical reaction of what's going on here. So I always hang them on the side, let them cure completely before throwing them away. Because if I had left that would have been a bad day. So watch throwing them things away, because it's a chemical reaction that, so if it dries completely, you're good to go. I don't know how many's noticed my little pan that hangs right over there. This is where I use it. Because what I do some wet sanding. What I use is automotive paper. And I gotta keep my little squirt bottle here. And see, I'll use 220 down to 2,000 on the automotive wet sand. Then I go to the macro pads, I think that's what they're called. The better job, the more patience you show right here, the better job it's going to do. You make sure each grit does its job. Keeping it wet, not turning it too fast. I'm on 1200 grit now. $2,000. After this, I'll go to the pads. Even pressure, light pressure, keep it moving. I'm just going to go up through the grits. I got, how many grits? Eight or 10 grits. Each one will get it a little shinier than the previous one. So let me get this, and then actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 grits. Okay. I'm gonna go up through these, since y'all, yeah, this will bore y'all to death. So I'll be back when I get up to the last one. All right, I think what I'm going to do now is go ahead and put the polish on it, and we'll take a look at it then. Okay, now we got our ultra shine, ultra gloss. Okay, so we've got our ultra gloss. We got it all squared away. So let's So I've got it now. Now we're ready to put the pin together. So what we're going to do now, we're going to take this little fella right here and we're going to put it and press this in. So the point goes right up in that hole. Okay, now we're going to press this in. Okay, now all we got to do is take, we put the spring on, one end smaller, the smaller end goes in first, and then this goes and here we go. Turned out nice. Turned out real nice. Had a few of these gun cases, ink pen cases. Yeah. Appreciate you joining me today. Made a bolt action pen. It's from Penn State. Again, the kit is PKCP 8040. That's the pen number from Penn State. Yeah. Well, you see, the only thing I sped up was the polishing and sanding. That took as long as all the rest of it put together. But the thing about it is, I didn't speed anything else up. It took that long. I mean, so it's not that long. You told me you come down here and to the shop, you need a quick win. That is the way to get it right there. But the more time you spend on that, with that CA and that polish and stuff, the prettier it is. And the more durable it is. So, that's going to do me for today. I appreciate you joining in, and I hope you liked it. Y'all be safe, and I'll catch you on the next one.